Hello, friends. Do you ever feel like the thrill of the hunt is stronger than your willpower? Well, I succumbed again. I confess, I succumbed to the thrill of the hunt at the thrift store that I recently found. It's been in business for a long time, but they moved to a new location. And I was passing by there on Saturday on my way back home. And before I knew it, I was in the parking lot. What can I say? Anyway, I went inside and I found a few things I just thought I'd show you. I tried to be judicious, and I think I was pretty much. But I found this is one of my favorite things that I found. It's a hug snug, and it's seam binding, and it's in this pretty blue gray color. Let's see if I can do this. It was $2.50 for this roll. It says it has 100 yards. Now I don't know if it does or not, but it surely has quite a few yards on it still. And it's kind of a gray, kind of a blue, which I think is going to be great for making things with. And I think that it probably would take dye since it's rayon, so I maybe could make it another color too. So anyway, that was exciting. I found that. I thought, gotta have that. And I found this ribbon, which is a pretty, really bright fuchsia color. I think it's organza. It says organdy ribbon. It was 25 cents for this roll, and it looks like there's quite a bit left on that. And I found this little package of, they're sew-on rhinestones. Each rhinestone has a backing that you can sew through. It has holes that you can stitch it onto material. And I'm assuming you could probably glue it on with something that's strong enough to hold it. It was 15 cents for 20 of those. And it was originally 30 cents, I think. So it's, who knows how old it is. It was in somebody's sewing things and they donated it, I guess, at some point. I found this book. It was $2.69, and it's for card making. And I don't really do card making. I've done some cards, but I don't. It's not something I do as a rule. But I looked at it enough to think, well, maybe there are things in here that I could use. And I really liked some of the ideas and some of these photographs. I thought I might be able to just harvest some of the things out of the book and use them. But I've been looking through it, and it's got some interesting ideas and some inspirations. So I brought it home with me. And if I really need to stop getting books, but I got this one. And then another thing I found was, and I was excited about this Sizzix Thinlits die set. It was in this Ziploc bag, and it was all taped around here with much tape. So that really all I could do was look through the back and see what was in here. See just a little bit of these dies. And it's for Christmas cards, I think, or winter cards. It has the dies to make a nutcracker and this die that makes the card. But I thought this doesn't look particularly wintry or anything. It's just kind of a neutral design. And I thought, well, I could use that as a border. And I thought about making it a pocket to go on. Let's call this a page. It's an envelope, but we could call it a page. Put it on this way. I thought about making it as a border on a pocket and putting lace behind it, cutting it off at the ends. But I thought that would be pretty. Or you could use it for a page edge design too. It's a little bit delicate, but so you could just put something colored behind it to show through the piercings. And I think that would be a pretty border on a page too. So anyway, for $1, it was $1. And it was, it doesn't have a price on it that I could find of what the retail price was, but it's fairly old, I think. I don't know if they have any dates on these or not. I don't think they do. But anyway, I got home and I opened it up and looked at it and saw potential, of course. And I just thought I'd share that with you. It has all these dies in here. Put that one back where it was. As I was looking at them, I've already mentioned the pierced edging there. There's also this die, which has it makes this kind of border on it, but it stops. This part doesn't cut out because it fits together with some of these other pieces, like this tree fits right into this corner, so that it's, when you cut this piece, it comes out with this piece is still attached from there to there. It's still attached, but it's cut. And then you put your die on your piece of paper that you cut, and it cuts out this shape out of what's left in this inside part, and you have something like this. This is not exactly right because I just cut this one out. I took my scissors and cut that part out, but it would be where the tree is in this corner. And then I cut a gold one with the little string of lights. I put that on there. So it's similar to that. And this one is the Nutcracker. And putting all of his little pieces together was kind of challenging. That's not my thing, but I thought he turned out kind of cute. And then I was thinking, this morning I was thinking about, well, when you cut this, if you still have this piece attached, I have this rose that doesn't have a cutting edge on this edge of it. So I tried fitting it in. Actually, what I did was I cut the rose first, and then I put this over it to make it fit inside the border. It's like this. It's still a little bit cut there. I probably would take scissors and just kind of go back like that to separate that rose out. But that worked well enough that I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I can use that. So I guess my point is, just because you have dies that are Christmas themed, you don't have to keep it as a Christmas theme. You can use the borders. This little piece of, this is a little leaf design that you could cut out and use. You can always use foliage on things. This says winter wishes, and that says joy, and those are teeny tiny little pieces. Most of this is for the Nutcracker, but this piece would just cuts a shape like this. It's this shape. So that's a good size for a card, a journaling card, or scripture card, whatever kind of card you want. So I thought that was good. So that's at least 3 pieces right there that are generic that you could use, and this one that I mentioned already about the border on it. So that's 4. So that's 25 cents a piece. When Dollar Tree was carrying these little dies, I haven't seen any there lately, but they were $1.25 for each one. This one has 3 pieces in it, and it's one that I've never really, hadn't worked for me yet, but I've used the little flowers. But I think these are more useful than this, so I can justify having these pieces at 25 cents a piece, plus all these others that are Christmas that I may use sometime too. So anyway, that's my theory on that, but you may think I'm crazy to have to justify it, but I kind of like to justify it in my mind, and I feel like I got a good deal. That's my deal. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you see these kinds of die sets for a good price, which $1 to me is pretty remarkable, think about how else you can use the pieces and decide if you want to spend your whatever the price is. This was $1, which I thought was a great price. But not just these, other kinds of dies have multiple uses other than the ones that they're intended for. You can use them other ways. If they have circles in them, those are always good to have punches. Borders are always fun to have. This one I got at Hobby Lobby a number of years ago when they still had dies and they still put them on sale. This was $3, $2.99, and it was regularly a $29.99 set. And as I was looking at it, I thought, well, there's this circle that's in that. I couldn't see inside this one very well either, but it has some stars. It has some holly. It has this tree, but it also had this round circle, which also makes the wreath. So it has a punch for that, and it has this scalloped punch, and it has home for Christmas. So it has those words also. So I thought, I can get some use out of this, and so I got it because it was a good price. So I would just encourage you to not just see what somebody, not see what the picture on here and say, well, I'm not going to make that, but to think about other ways that you can use the pieces that are part of this, like the stars and the things. So anyway, that was my thought on that. That was my short haul, and I enjoyed being there and seeing what was available. I didn't really leave anything behind that I regret. I have a lot of stuff, so I shouldn't be buying anything really, but I am. So what do you do? the thrill of the hunt. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.